the building, swag out. I got him cashed out.
This is. Yeah. A little sample for y'all.
Yeah, I know
y'all forget it.
That's all you get for free.
Everything after that you gotta pay for. I'm sorry.
You gotta pay your likes and subscriptions.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's true. I get that.
That's even free too, people. Little known secret, that's free too.
Barely.
He said barely.
Barely.
Free to you, expensive for us. Very. Oh my God, we love that. Ooh, go get a friend. Hit that free button.
Hit that free button.
Leave a subscribe button.
Yeah, it's the free button right there, yo. Doesn't cost you a dang thing. Doesn't cost you anything.
All you gotta do is have a Gmail. Either way, let's go right to it.
I'm Daniel. That's Ant-Man. That's Al.
Boom, boom. Make sure you pronounce the hyphen like he did.
We are here to talk about why the DCEU imploded and exploded. It's no longer here.
Dissolve.
All of the adjectives.
Got painted over. Got a lot of things to it.
All the adjectives, people, okay? But before we talk about that, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Because it's free.
Hit that notification bell.
Because it's free.
And hit that like button.
Because it's super free.
There you go. Okay, so let's get into part 2 of why DCEU fizzles out, failed, imploded, exploded.
Behind the scenes, Game of Thrones.
The behind the scenes, the studios, the critics, the executives, The Rock, the pandemic, Snyder Cut, new executives, executive decisions getting made. You know, I want this to be precisely 2 hours.
The dumbest thing I've heard in my life. 2 hours with credits.
Yo. Yeah. That is putting your foot down and flexing your power. Mm-hmm. If there was ever a time in the history of movie making, a person, a group, an executive flexed their power, it was then.
All for a bonus. Oh my gosh.
All part of the failure of the DCEU. Oh, we love this stuff. Okay? All right, who wants to go first?
Me, duh. Here we go. First of all, the way Warner Brothers has constructed the DC universe and reacted to every little thing is the reason why it all failed. And because they keep reacting and not having a set course and stay in the path, they are failing. And what they did to Zack Snyder was absolutely criminal. They don't want to hear it, but it was you're going to use the death of his daughter as a means to exit him out so you can do what you want with the movie. That is absurdly evil. Like, there's some evil things in this world that's happened, but that has obviously top 10. That's unfair. Yeah. But it's still pretty evil.
It's a lot of evil stuff out there.
The fact that that his daughter committing suicide in your eyes is a good thing tells you what kind of people you are. And
Somebody said it was a good thing?
The way they act. All right, so
yeah, that's pretty high, bro.
Yeah, and I stand by it.
Nah.
What they gonna do?
I mean, I'm me personally, I don't. Zack
Snyder was filming the movie, right? He was filming Justice League. They hired Josh.
No, I understand, but I just
not Jeff Johns. They hired Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns like, oh yeah, I could get the Avengers director to come in. So they brought him in, have him rewrite scripts on the spot. It made absolutely no sense because you've seen it. Made him right on the spot, and then Zack Snyder kept fighting for his movie. He just kept fighting, and then after his daughter died, he kept saying, "I lost the will to keep fighting." And they said, "How about you take a break?" And then that's when they said, "Are we going to just change the whole movie while you're gone?"
I mean, I understand.
So that was in their eyes. I didn't say maybe they didn't think it, but the way they acted seemed like it was we're going to take advantage.
I understand, but me personally, I mean, I don't care who you are saying, "Oh, somebody."
I didn't say they say it. All right, let me phrase it. They acted like it was in their best interest.
Yeah, because
which is still evil. It's just the same amount of evil. Still the amount. That's fair.
Go ahead.
It's still the same amount of evil. Still the absolute same amount of evil. And on top of that, the way that y'all keep jumping ship every time fans say, "Oh, we don't like this or like that," you want to switch up the entire slate. What? The entire slate. You'll film a whole movie, have it in pre-production, get ready to be released, and say, "Hey, we got to cut this off for tax reasons." It makes absolutely no sense.
But it might actually have been that bad.
You released. I bet you released much worse. Because you should have did that with Wonder Woman 84. Should have did that with Justice League, Joss Whedon cut. Should have did that with Black Adam.
You probably should have done that with Wonder Woman 84, but you couldn't do it with Wonder Woman 84 at the same time.
You should have. We could get into other movies that you should have cut. Obviously, you know, for being 10 years, I can't say they made a ton of movies. They just made a ton of bad decisions.
Yes, which is why the DCEU is no longer here, and we're talking about it, and we are here. Another one is the double whammy, which we just brought up, which is Snyderverse, which leads into the executives and how the different ones were there. There were the studio executives, there were the DCEU executives, then there was the selling of Warner Brothers
to
and
Discovery.
Discovery.
To AT&T.
Right.
They're from AT&T to Discovery.
And how much that had affected.
And now they're trying to sell that. Apparently they want to sell that, and Universal might be the buyer.
How all of that, the inconsistency of the ownership.
Like you said, they don't have any plan.
Yeah, the inconsistency of the ownership, which usually happens in a smaller way, which is what was happening with the Wonder Woman franchise. It just kept going from owner to owner, and nobody could really figure out what to do with it and how to use it and stuff. But to have such a thing happen with such a large franchise as the DCEU is just ridiculous, and it showed.
Oh gosh, it showed so much.
And
like with it
was part of the problem.
All right, so for instance, you remember how good Wonder Woman is, right? Mm-hmm. You remember how bad Wonder Woman 84 is, right? Mm-hmm. They took, what's her name? What's the director of Wonder Woman?
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. They took Patty Jenkins went to the executive board and said, hey, look, I know what I'm doing with Wonder Woman. Even though you had a writer and all those people that helped you with the movie, got rid of all of them because I know what I want to do. And I said, a good executive said, hold up, we had a system that got us this beautiful product that made money, and you want to just take it all away, and then you see what you get, and then you're like, man, I think I can do it again. Give me the third one. I know what I messed up at. You messed up by getting rid of the people that broke the movie.
And then what you always say? Double down. Double down.
Yeah. If I'm double down, I'm losing millions. I'm not doubling down on that. You can't spend bad money after bad money. That's a problem.
I think they got a
good,
but
what's the name?
Were they, or were they making changes each time?
They made changes at a whim. They made, and we're not going to talk about
try to course correct because they did a lot of course correcting.
No, they did a lot of course changing. None of it was correct. Not one course is correct.
Who is if it's so many executives and everybody has their own decision or their own thought of what should happen, there has to be one person, or there should be one person at the top who would say, no, that doesn't make sense, or that does make sense.
The first person that they gave the power to was Zack Snyder.
Right.
He had a plan.
After him.
After him, then it was...
we know about what happened with him.
After him, it was... not Zack Soloff. Oh, my God. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Him. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. And I can't pronounce it. Let's just be real. But he was in charge. And then he was trying to band-aid the situation that happened between Fisher and Josh Whedon.
Okay.
And then he pretty much just said, hey, man, just leave him alone.
Josh Whedon? No,
to Jackson. He's like, leave Whedon alone.
Right.
And we was like, no, I'm not about to do that. How you going to call me and tell me to leave him alone after all of us have had complaints on him? Mm-hmm. So then that kind of just blew up. Then Walter Hamada, that's his name. So Walter Hamada he's the one who started like, we're about to revamp all of this stuff, and we're going to start with the Flash. That was supposed to be, we're going to use that to reboot it. Because that was pretty much, it was the Flashpoint in name, kind of. Like a lot of the details weren't the same. But we're not here for that. But, so he's going to reboot it with Flashpoint. Mm-hmm. But then there was another sale of Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. And then everybody on the internet was like, nah, get rid of Walter Hamada, because everybody just fighting for Zack Snyder. So it was like, get rid of Walter Hamada, because he's talking about, yeah, we're going to release the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, but he called it a cul-de-sac. It's a road to nowhere. So we're just going to release it and everything. And then
which it ended up being anyway.
everything on this list, every movie's a road to nowhere. You could have said that about any one of them.
No, Shazam had a destination. Aquaman had a destination. It's just a matter of
all of these roads led to nowhere. So it's just moving forward. Okay, so he said that got Zack Snyder fans in an uproar, made a whole big deal, and then Warner Brothers got sold again to the Discovery, and then he didn't know what to do, and then there was another civil war behind the scenes because The Rock said, "Hold on, I want to be."
Enters The Rock.
I want to be executive. I know what the fans want. It's going to be great. My Black Adam movie is going to do fantastic. I could get Henry Cavill back. Another cul-de-sac led to nowhere. And it became literally a Game of Thrones situation because they, what is the dude's name? It's too many names. He did Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn. James Gunn and The Rock were battling out to who will be the new head of DC Studios. And because the Black Adam failed miserably, they went with James Gunn.
Take that name out the hat.
And James Gunn back to Flash. And then that's all his fault because he should just shut up.
So does that pretty much mean that the executives up top were like, look, whoever's movie does better.
Yeah, they were going to buy numbers.
Okay.
They were going to buy numbers.
Pretty much everything that's happening in the executive part of this is pretty much just who wants Zack Snyder and who doesn't.
No, they got rid of Zack Snyder.
That's what I'm saying. But then after that, they had no plan at all.
No plan.
So
except Walter Morata had a plan, but the fans were so much in the uproar because the way they thought he was treating Zack Snyder and
so it was back to Zack Snyder, like I said.
No, they were just back to Zack. Zack Snyder moved on. He's at Netflix.
No, but if your fans are like, oh, the way you treat him, no, we don't like this, and then you say, all right, you know what, I'm gonna listen to y'all. And I'm going to switch it so it goes back to Zack Snyder.
I mean, not him specifically, but yeah.
I mean, but everything
it's all around Zack Snyder.
Right. Everything that's happening in the DCEU is the pros and cons of Zack Snyder.
I would say this. It's the pros and cons of having a plan and not. If you're going to make adjustments to the plan, that's fine. But they just changed the plan completely.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
Because of Zack Snyder, he had the plan. And then when they got rid of him, they tried to deviate from the plan, but half the team wanted to deviate or wanted Zack Snyder back, while the other half of the team did not want Zack Snyder. Right. Yeah. So it all comes back to Zack Snyder, no matter if it's good, wrong, positive, negative.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm asking because
I would say it comes back to ego, because there are people they were listening to fans, but they were only listening to select few of fans, and the problem with that is. The fans are divided, which we'll talk about in the third part of this, which is to be the fans. But the executives they didn't have a court. They had
after Zack Snyder, who had the next plan?
Walter Hamada.
Okay.
He was going to start with the Flash, but then there was a whole nother scenario behind the scenes of who's trying to fight for control.
Right. And that's between James Gunn and...
No, this is after that.
Okay.
Because they fired Walter Hamada. I think they moved him to at first he was the head of horror in Warner Bros. Then they moved him up. So he came up with a plan. He's going to reset everything, so and so. But then he kept dropping plans that made no sense. Like you're going to bring back Michael Keaton. He's going to be in a Batman Beyond kind of role. But not to...
not do Batman Beyond.
It was going for Batgirl.
Right, okay.
All right, then you're going to have... you're going to have Supergirl take the place of Superman.
Okay.
So you're going to have the Trinity, Wonder Woman, Batgirl, and Supergirl. So they were like, hold on, the Trinity we want was Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
You're confusing people here.
Now you're switching it all up again.
You're going full blown.
And then on another that,
changing the timeline.
Warner Brothers did this thing, I don't know why, where everybody who had like a big enough name came to him and said, hey, I want to do a project. And they said, sure, go ahead and do it. That's how you got stuff like Birds of Prey. That's how you got stuff like Peacemaker. That's how you got stuff like The Suicide Squad. Right. Everybody kept saying, hey, man, I got an idea for a movie. I was like, cool. That's how you got the Joker. That's how you got the Batman. Instead of having Ben Affleck's Batman, which he was going to fight Deathstroke, and have a whole thing with that. Like, nah.
All of this was during the Walter Hamada.
Yeah, that's all through the Walter Hamada.
Peacemaker, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they all kept
Batman.
saying, hey.
So Walter Hamada should have never listened to most people. He should have just, if he had a plan, he should have stuck with
No
it.
real studio lets. If you have
No,
a
they don't.
if
Right,
you
that's
have a
what I'm asking.
continuous franchise, you don't let anybody just come in and say, "I want to pitch a movie with my character." All right, let me listen. That sounds like it's gonna make some money. Go ahead and do it.
So Zach Amata is,
Well,
I'm trying to...
he's one of them. It's not one person you're gonna point to that's gonna say, "Hey, this is why this failed." It's not one because it's another
but
lady's
if
name.
we break it down, we know, first and foremost, we know Zack Snyder, the Zack Snyder leaving was one major event.
Being forced out.
Right, being forced out. That's a major event, right? So
Almost
after
immediately.
him,
Yeah.
I mean, but after him, because if we're trying to figure out how it failed, then we got to figure out who did it.
I said, all right. So put it like this: the reason I say it's like a Game of Thrones.
Who done it?
Who done it?
Yeah.
Right.
The reason I say it's like Game of Thrones behind it, because if you remember in Game of Thrones, you can't point to one specific incident that led to the events. Like there's certain major.
There's no one domino.
Yeah, it's not one no.
Zack Snyder. I feel it sounds like Zack Snyder is the one dominant.
No, he might be a part of it, but he's not the one dominant. Because it's like a timeline. Everything happens in an order, but you can't say, all right, this only happened because of that. This only happened because of that. Because you can go back and switch it, and then there'll still be a mess up. Because there was still going to be a sale of Warner Brothers,
Right.
Even
But
if Zack Snyder wasn't
if
even
he did
in
his first movie and it made numbers, and even if they sold it, they would have still kept him because it made money.
That sounds like the right thing to do, and we all know.
I'm just
No, we
breaking
all.
it
Yeah, I said
The
that sounds
argument,
like the right
the
thing
argument
to
for
do.
that one is that's what happened with James Gunn.
Right.
Even though his Suicide Squad came on HBO Max, it
still did good.
It had good fan
Yeah.
reaction
Right.
and good critic reaction to it and everything, which was why he was immediately able to make Peacemaker.
Right.
Because he had good backing and everything, and he had the people behind him, and he got greenlit quick.
Okay.
Because he was already making Peacemaker by the time Suicide Squad had came out. Peacemaker was already in production.
Okay.
But that's it, again. That's what I'm saying. They were just like, oh, okay, you got an idea. Oh, we like it. Go make it. Instead of having a plan.
Right.
Nobody has a plan until hopefully now James Gunn does.
Okay.
But again, it might be another sale of Warner Brothers.
I'm about to say, you've been sending me information about his plan, which sounds...
Oh, well, I mean, he put it on there.
Yeah, but
he said it.
He had a
Would-
full plan.
We'll switch it up, depending because of the situation with Flash and how it ain't do good.
See, and I'm glad you brought that up because with James Gunn, I talked to him about.
That's what I'm hearing about. Yeah.
I talked to him about this. James Gunn should have shut up, and I mean this. He should have did the work and not said a word, because soon as he said he watched the Flash is good.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it. He took responsibility
Yeah, he did.
for it, and when he took responsibility for it, and it's flopping, he takes responsibility for it. He don't believe it. But he takes responsibility for that flop.
So
if he would have just shut up and let it do what it's supposed to do, whether it be if it was good, he's like, yeah, I took credit because I came in, changed some stuff. And if it was bad, like I ain't had nothing to do with that. Look, we're moving forward. We just got to flush this out.
Yeah.
But he's still moving forward no matter what.
Yeah, he is. But now he already got an L on his chest.
He doesn't have an L. It wasn't his. It was not his in no way, shape, or form.
Once he said it's good, I'm backing it. You're the driver count.
No.
You could have just let that.
How many L's can he take before the executives be like, look, you know what? This isn't working.
I think he got the Superman legacy.
Okay.
I
You think the same?
No, I think he has as much as it takes, yo. I think he's the man now. I think he's
Nobody's the man. You could clearly see. We talking about
That's
nobody's
why
the
I'm
man
asking,
in Warner
'cause I'm
Brothers.
like-
No, I think he's genuinely the man. The way he did it so he did it the proper way.
Okay.
Which was the way Marvel's been doing it at Hall H during San Diego Comic-Con. You come out, you give a layout, this is what we got coming. DC's done it before, but not like the way James Gunn did it, which is what you're supposed to do. Give the fans something to look forward to.
Yeah,
and he gave a layout of everything I got coming up. And then it boosted everything. It was a domino effect that go research the comics. Go research the characters.
Get the information.
Go
Trying to get your background started.
Go look at who these people are and what they are going and everything. These are some unknown people, like Guardians of the Galaxy. They were unknown. I did this with them. The Authority, basically the same thing. unknown to most people, even most comic book fans. We're going to do something with them. We're going to do something great with them. If I can get a dang raccoon in a tree to get you guys emotionally invested in those two people for like several years, I can do something with the authority, okay? And the man's got credibility. So I think him doing it that way was a good move.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
He doesn't have responsibility to everything before his stuff. Because he said the new DCEU starts Superman Legacy on this date.
So you think he just threw out the movie to try to say, look, we're restarting over?
Yes, he did say that. Yeah. He did.
I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm saying is, listen. All the movies before, like Shazam, like he doesn't take blame for Shazam. Why? Because he said, Shazam, he's over there in his own world. Boom. That's all he said. He didn't leave nothing for Shazam. It
was already shown though.
No, it wasn't. It didn't come out yet. He had that video came out in January.
Oh, okay.
That Shazam did not come out yet.
Okay.
He said almost kind of like the same thing with like Blue Beetle. It's a movie, gonna be out. Boom. The only one he backed and said, I've seen this movie, it's gonna be good. You need to go see it. Was The Flash. If he would have just said, hey, after these movies, we're gonna start. My whole thing starts with Superman Legacy. Then he was like, all right, fine then. Shut up. Cool. Just shut up. Do the work. And then when Superman Legacy does well, then you step out.
So it's not okay for him to give his opinion on whether or not a movie is good or not?
Not movies that you ain't got nothing to do with. Not movies that you didn't have any creative control over. No. Because once you step out there, it is your fault.
It's not his fault in no way, shape, or form.
I mean, because I see where both of y'all coming. He's saying you shouldn't have said it was a good movie.
I can't give somebody. I can't point the finger at somebody who had nothing to do with the making of a movie. You had nothing to do with the making of that movie.
You backed the movie.
People back movies all the time.
Right, but you're ahead of the studio now. That is the movie. So you, as the head of the studio, once you're the leader, it all falls on you. Once you put the crown on, you sit on the Iron Throne. You're the leader. It all comes back to you. No matter if you had something to do with it or not. It all comes back to you to fix it.
No. This is 2023. This ain't the golden area and everything.
I'm just using the.
We can all look at this and
most people don't
do our own research and know for a fact.
But how many regular people actually go do their own research on a movie?
First of all, it's easy to.
It's easy, but how many people actually do it?
No. First of all, we know this is in his movie.
You know that.
No. Everybody else knows. Nobody's. Then how did they know him then? How would they know James Gunn?
Because Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, but they're not going to associate James Gunn with The Flash.
So simple question.
The people who would associate him with him would also know that he didn't have nothing to do with it.
So a simple question. Does that mean, because the people who are above him knows it was his movie, so are you worried about what the fans are thinking, or are you worried about what they're thinking?
You have to worry about what the fans think, because the fans are the ones who pay your money.
But
so if the fans, if everybody believes that the fans believe that he backed his movie, he's responsible for the movie, and
so
it doesn't
can he go out and say to them, "Hey, this wasn't my movie. I was backing it to try."
No, you can't do it.
He already said that.
He
shouldn't have did that now. He should have never said anything. My point is, he should have never said a word about those movies.
So if he didn't say anything about the movie, and the movie still came out on his watch, would they still blame him?
No. Regular people would. I'm not talking about people like me, like us three,
right,
our friends that we know that keep an eye on it and know stuff behind it. I'm talking about, like, for instance, your baby brother or your nephew or cousin or whatever who only go to the movies and they say, hey, the dude from Guardians of the Galaxy said...
But like you just said, though, people don't do research.
Yeah, exactly. So they wouldn't know that he backed it. At no point would they know that he backed it. And if they saw the same video, then that means they would know that
But they don't want to know, because that means they would... I'm saying... They wouldn't watch the whole video. Just like you're on Instagram and you're on TikTok and Facebook, they only show you a clip. They never show you the whole video. They show you a clip. I've seen the clip where he says, I tell you, it's like a 15-second clip. James Gunn's talking about, I've seen The Flash. It's a great movie. It's going to be great. I've seen that clip.
Okay,
nothing
that's
but the clip, not the whole video.
That's fine.
But the clip. And regular people who are just scrolling on their phone, don't do no research, just see the clip. Like, I know him. He's from that's from Guardians of the Galaxy.
But
he said go to the movie.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if that falls on their thing, then that means they follow other comic book stuff, and they would also know.
No, because you could just stuff like that just be put. Stuff like that will come up, and you can sponsor that kind of stuff. So like you could just put that out there. Like, you can literally sponsor your stuff, and it'll just come up on other people's feed. I have stuff that come on my feed all the time. I'm not talking about anything. Or, just like we all know, your phone is listening to you. So if you bring up The Flash, it'll come up.
Well, I'm pretty sure you bring up The Flash, it'll bring up more stuff that has to do with
But
the
I'm saying-
actual movie.
Yeah, but all that stuff gets put in the algorithm, what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get the conversation started. We got to finish it up with them.
Okay.
It's a good conversation, though.
Yeah. So you guys heard it. We named everything that we think behind the scenes that
There's more.
is
Yeah. It's just
the DCEU failure, imploded, exploded, fizzled out, everything. The executives, the Snyder Cut, the one that we didn't really get to cover, but it's pretty self-explanatory. The pandemic, the Rock, the new executives, the old executives,
the old executives,
the old executives.
That's a lot.
All of those are issues that caused the DCEU's failure, and
It just feels like everything. I mean,
but
it's
not everything, but it is
feels like
everything.
it, right.
If it keep feeling like it,
Yeah,
and you keep breaking it down, it seems like everything.
It's not everything, but it kind of is. There was a lot going on behind the scenes to alter the movies, to stop it, to change the direction of stuff, to stop about consistency, and just like he said, all of a sudden you just got a guy who's in charge who's like, you got a great idea. That sounds excellent.
Yeah.
You go. You get money.
You
get
get a
money.
movie.
Yeah.
You
You
get
get
a
a movie.
movie.
And
No matter
then
who you are.
and then next thing you know,
Got nothing that makes sense.
there's no more DCEU, and the next guy sitting there telling it like, oh yeah, that's going to be Elseworld stuff. It has nothing to do with the rest of us. But you guys let us know in the comment section from all the stuff that we said, which one do you think was a really, really, like, you feel as though that pushed everything over the edge, you know?
Josh Whedon.
Woo! Go in the comment section
Josh
and let us know.
Double goddamn J's.
That's oh my goodness. That's
Jay Jonah, huh?
that's
No,
Jay-
Jay Jonah
That's
was
the DCJ.
Oh, they're a lot worse than him.
Jay,
A lot
yeah.
worse.
Who was the J. Jonah Jameson? Okay, who was trying to stop the DCU Spider-Man from being amazing? Until next time, guys, we are out of here.
Deuces.